We're living in very interesting times. What we are going through right now is very different from 2008 recession, very different from the Great Depression. What we're seeing ever since January, ever since coronavirus broke out, up till now, where half of the world is practically under lockdown. What we are seeing is that a lot of small businesses are going out of business. They may never be able to come back, but there are a few businesses, a few key businesses that are growing in this period. Let me give you the top 10 businesses that are thriving during COVID-19. Number 10, home workout products. What's home workout products? It's these stationary bicycles. It's the equipment you use to train at home, dumbbells, treadmills. JD, a Chinese retailer site, they reported that as soon as the lockdowns began in China, they saw that sales of treadmills more than doubled. Then we saw the same trend play out for the rest of Asia and then later on in the West as well. And it doesn't just have to be the physical equipment. I'm also going to add that ClassPass, a digital service for you to interact with your trainers, they experienced a sudden rise in the number of home training videos conducted, because all the gyms were closed and all these trainers, they needed to continue training their clients. They all come online using ClassPass, where 100% of the revenue goes to the trainer. They have a very different business model. So they saw a sudden increase in the amount of home training being conducted on their platform. Number 9. Number 9 is an easy one. It is e-commerce. Now, you might be seeing the news, there are a lot of layoffs happening, a lot of people losing their jobs, record unemployment levels. But amongst all of this, do you know that there is a company that is hiring many more people than ever before? They're hiring over 100,000 people to cope up with the demand. You know which company that is? Amazon.
That's important, isn't it? That's really good.
Amazon is struggling to keep up with the demand because so many more people are now shopping online through their Prime service and even otherwise. Even Shopify they have a little different business model than Amazon. It's a Canadian company. Shopify's model is you don't really feel you're shopping on Shopify, because what they do is they just power e-commerce. So let's say I'm a startup and I install the Shopify plugin or so in my website or apps. People can buy my products and Shopify will take care of processing it. Even the physical goods, when they're shipped, the boxes are all packaged with my brand label, so you never get to know that it's actually a Shopify powered service. But Shopify, they've seen a 47% increase in sales just in Q1 this year. Now keep in mind though, the kind of purchases people are making is slightly different from the same time last year. Obviously, people are not buying luxury goods online. They're not buying those mid to high tier kind of goods. They're not buying suits and coats online. No, it's not that. What they're doing is they're buying many small items, many low priced items, which have a very low margin. So what we're seeing is an increased volume on low margin products. So that's an interesting difference to keep in mind when you hear all the news of, oh, e-commerce is booming and everything. Just know that it's a very certain band of products that is actually seeing that increase in popularity. And all the related sectors to e-commerce, so everything that's involved in the e-commerce value chain, whether that's shipping, payment processing, all of these guys are also doing very well, because when demand for e-commerce goes up, when there are more transactions conducted online, payment processors like PayPal, Visa, Master, Gateway, all these services, they benefit because of that increased volume. And shipping, obviously, when you buy a lot of products online, all the local shipping companies, they're doing extremely well. And they also have food delivery. So again, shipping and all the industries related to e-commerce, all doing very well in this period. Number 8 is grocery stores. Now, I intentionally separated this from e-commerce because there are two parts to this. So grocery store, you have their online sales and you have their physical people going to the actual outlets and spending. So let's talk about online. Online grocery sales online have increased 56%. These are people who go online to order their food, provisions, drinks, vegetables. They select their items online, they get it delivered, provided it meets a certain minimum order of some sort. So we're seeing 56% more online grocery sales. So that's online. And then for the physical stores, obviously we're seeing many more people go to grocery stores. A lot of small businesses shut down. So grocery stores have become kind of like a hub for getting everything you need. Me personally, I would barely even go to grocery stores, but these days I'm there most of the time, every other day. I buy a few drinks, I buy some cheese, and I come home, buy a lot of fruits actually these days. So people are going to these stores more often, and also keep in mind that all this leisure spending of going to restaurants, eating out, where do you think people are spending that right now? They're spending it on snacks, on fruits, on items that you can get on grocery stores. So that kind of explains why grocery stores are becoming more popular, apart from the fact that there's a lot of panic buying going on, right? So grocery stores, again, doing very well in this period. Moving on, number 7 is alcohol. What do you mean? I mean, all the bars are closed, pubs are closed, clubs are ordered to shut down. So what do you mean? Well, there are two parts to this. One is going to actual bars. Now, if you take Singapore, for instance, that's where I am. This is very different depending on which country, how they go about their lockdowns. But in Singapore, for instance, a lot of bars remained open even after bars were ordered to shut down. Reason being, it was legal. They were registered as restaurants, not bars, because they serve food as well. They were registered as restaurants. So a lot of people still flocked over there. They were still consuming. They were still buying stuff home. So that was that. But most of the sales is happening in stores, grocery stores, retail stores. And sales for alcohol in the UK in March, just in March, went up 22% compared to the same period last year. Sales for alcohol in the US went up 55% compared to that same March period in 2019. So that just gives you an idea that, yeah, people are consuming, whether it's wine, beer, hard liquor, whatever. People are buying these drinks, I mean, to keep themselves probably occupied at home. They're not really going to work. So that could possibly explain it. But yes, alcohol sales are going up. On to number 6, PPE, personal protective equipment. And I'd include sanitization related products as well. So what are these? These are surgical masks, face shields, gloves, sanitizers, disinfectant, vitamins, supplements. These are all products that have seen a sudden spike in demand in this COVID period. So if you take masks, for instance, masks of the small, the disposable ones, just a basic paper plastic kind of mask. Then you have a little more rugged, rubbery mask. Then you have those full protection 3M masks. I mean, across the range, people are buying masks, and it's even mandated, right? So people are buying different kinds of masks during this period. Hand sanitizers. You go into any retail store, any restaurant, all these places, they often have this sanitizer over there. So sanitizers, along with the masks, are the core ones, but a lot of other related products are also seeing that increase in demand. Apple will ship 20 million custom designed face shields, as they call it. They even show the design online. They're shipping 20 million of these to frontline workers in this time. Also, perfume companies, obviously no one is buying perfumes. No one is looking for the best Louis Vuitton perfume, the best Dolce & Gabbana at this time. What they are doing is perfume companies are using their factories. They've converted their factories into factories for hand sanitizers, because at the end of the day, it's the same basic alcohol compound. They can quickly shift to manufacturing those, and also they get a lot of good PR. You know, when Louis Vuitton said we're going to do that, they got a lot of good press in this time as being seen as a socially responsible company. So again, PPE and sanitization related products, there is a demand across the range for these products. Number 5, okay, we're halfway through. Online communication, work from home enablers, remote work infrastructure of some sort. Companies providing these kind of services, as you can guess, are doing extremely well in this period because everyone's working from home. The obvious ones: Slack, the office communication tool. I personally use it. They added more customers this quarter compared to the previous quarter. You have Zoom. Zoom reported that they have 300 million participating users every single day. Now here's the thing, there was a little bit of a discrepancy. When they say 300 million participants every day, it's not the same as daily active users, because every meeting has certain participants. So if you have multiple meetings, I guess they probably count that as multiple participants. So there was a bit of a discrepancy there, but either way, they're doing very well. Zoom seems to have come into the spotlight right now, even though companies like Skype have been offering a very identical service for years now. Zoom seems to have enjoyed the sudden spike in demand in this period. Then you have Citrix. Citrix, as you know, makes a lot of digital solutions to power power these communication tools, and a lot of enterprise companies use Citrix products. Their stock was up 26% this year. So apart from the obvious the ones that you can see as a brand like Slack and Zoom, there are a lot of companies that are using Citrix to power their remote work infrastructure. So across the board, if you're in office communication or any sort of any sort of remote work enabler, these companies are doing very well in this period. Number 4 is online training or online coaching, and this is specifically related to education. Whether it's schools or colleges, everyone has been asked to study from home. Schools have sent their students back home saying do home-based study. Colleges now they've asked their students to just sit at home and watch the lectures and even do exams through online means. So everyone's online, and the people who are powering that sort of technology, whether it's e-learning platforms like Panepto, they have seen a sharp increase in the number of users online. Coursera, Udemy, all these services where they collate a bunch of online courses, make it available, they have seen an increase in the number of people who are registering to do online courses during this time. So again, online training, online education, and I think we're going to see much more of this, but we're already seeing a sudden increase in these the consumption of these services. Number 3 is gaming. Okay, it's getting pretty dark right now, but guess what? What I'm doing here is an essential service, so we're going to keep going on. Number 3, gaming. Gaming includes companies like Nintendo and Electronic Arts. Nintendo said on Thursday that their annual profit surged 41%. It's the highest in 9 years. That should give you some idea. And the profit for this first quarter 2020 has more than tripled their previous quarter. Twitch, the popular video game sort of streamer where you can see people play games. So it's not actually playing the video game, but you see people playing it. Twitch has also seen a sudden increase in the number of users. They saw 1.49 billion gaming hours watched in April. That's a 50% increase from just March. Games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, and other products by EA, they said FIFA and NFL engagement has been the highest ever. So game companies providing online games of sort, computer games, they're seeing a sudden increase in the number of people who are gaming at home. Number 2 is social media. Now this by far is the most amazing, if you ask me, because I can really see the effects of this. There are so many more people right now online consuming content. I've personally seen the effects. When I post something new, when I release a new video, I get so much more attention because so many more people now have their eyeballs hooked on social media. There's a lot more consumption. The time spent on social media went up 60%. So that's Facebook, Twitter, all the major social networks went up 60%. Even messages through WhatsApp, they experienced a 50% increase in number of messages people are sending one-on-one with different people. And Twitter reported that over 20% more active users during this time. Number 1, toilet paper. Okay, that's obviously a joke. Although there's a lot of truth to it. We're seeing a lot more sales of toilet paper, but I mean, that's obviously just panic buying. The real number 1 over here is video streaming. Cinemas are closed. Box office numbers went from millions to now just a few thousands, and it's practically zero. I mean, no one's going to the theater. It's not legal to go to the theater anymore. They're one of the first businesses to be ordered to shut down, along with the clubs, as you know, being places where you know a lot of people are concentrated. It was obviously shut down very early on in the lockdown cycle. So cinemas, no one's going there. Obviously, they need something else to entertain, and that is online streaming. So the biggest beneficiary over here is Netflix. Netflix is the biggest winner by far. I made a post about this. They were expected to add about 7 to 8 million new subscribers this quarter, Q1 2020. Do you know how many they added? They added double that, double the expectation. They added 15.7 new subscribers just in Q1. Keep in mind, though, from what I understand from the investors' call, they have a pipeline of movies and shows that they already recorded, that they already shot, and now their crew is editing it, sitting at home. So they will have a few more months of new releases, but production is completely halted. So I'm not sure if there'll be a point where we're not going to see any new releases by them, because again, they can't physically shoot. It's completely stopped. What's interesting is they've also announced a $150 million fund to support people in the entertainment sector. Why are they doing that? Because people in the entertainment sector, people involved in production, cast and crew, okay, apart from the big actors, there are a lot of people involved in the production of a movie or a major network TV show, and all these people right now are finding it difficult to get through this period because most of the stimulus packages, they don't even qualify for them. Here's the thing: in the entertainment sector, a lot of people are there just to do their gig. Their jobs are like gigs. They come, they get paid for what they deliver. They're like freelancers, right? So they don't actually have a job that they lost, which makes them unqualified for the most of the packages announced. So what Netflix did is they said, we're going to have a fund, and most of the countries where they are actively involved in production, they said, okay, we're going to come and help the local talent just get by this period. So that's an interesting initiative. Also, all the Netflix that you're streaming, where do you think it's located? Where are the servers? When people are streaming 4K video or even 1080p, so many people, millions of people every single night, where do you think the servers are? The thing is, Netflix doesn't own their servers. They run on AWS. So Amazon, apart from all the increased business they're seeing in commerce, their AWS business is stronger than ever. They're already making tens of billions just from AWS. I think we should be hearing the report soon. AWS by a business itself should be doing very well, because everyone who's relying on AWS to provide their digital infra will now obviously be paying Amazon much more to continue hosting their services online. So AWS is kind of a related industry. A cloud services industry is also doing very well. Just added that as a side note. So apart from Netflix, Disney Plus is also adding new subscribers. Apple TV, nothing close to the numbers we're hearing from Netflix, but they are continuing to grow. Universal, which was supposed to launch its platform Peacock this year, what they're doing is they're making the movies that they plan to release in the theater, they're making them available to rent online in these times. So that's also an interesting concept, where instead of making it available for free for streaming, what they're doing is they're able to recover a little more of the cost involved in making a major movie by making it a rental based purchase. So that's Universal. Then you have YouTube. YouTube I'm including over here as video streaming, because it's not really subscription video, I mean video streaming in general, and YouTube is a big player in that. Okay, they haven't officially released information. YouTube, they hardly even release information because they're under the hat of Google, and apart from the numbers we heard last year as to what their ad revenues are, we really don't know much about YouTube's business because of the fact that they live under that larger company, Google. But obviously, common sense, YouTube, people are watching a lot more YouTube. People rely on YouTube to get their daily news because all the channels are hosted there. They have their live streams. People are going there much more than the traditional cable TV. So YouTube is also seeing a huge increase, probably the most, what do you say, the largest beneficiary during this time. And probably they're selling a lot more of their YouTube premium subscriptions during this time. But even otherwise, ad-supported revenue should be also on the rise. So there you have it. The top 10 businesses booming during COVID-19, or rather, not even despite COVID-19, because of COVID-19. These businesses are doing very well because they are completely digital, or they're one of the core essential services. But as I covered, these top business sectors, they're doing very well during this period. You might be reading a lot of articles about how businesses are not going to go back to normal even after lockdown. So take a moment to think of all these 10 sectors that I shared. You might want to ask yourself, are the demand for these going to be sustained for the rest of this year, a little bit into next year as well, or is the demand just because of the current lockdown, and as soon as the lockdown is lifted, people are going back to their regular spending habits, and these businesses may not grow as fast as they are right now? What do you think? It's different depending on the business, but it's worth thinking about whether, like for example, cinemas, when cinemas reopen, do you think people would feel safe going and sitting in the cinema, or they'd be very comfortable with watching their Netflix and Prime at home? So these are questions that we should be asking as to how are people's habits going to change, and therefore how are their consumption patterns going to change, how are their spending habits going to change, is going to affect how which businesses continue to grow after this COVID-19 period.